Hello and welcome to Fernbank Science Center's The Sky This Week for October 31st through November 6th, 2021. A new moon in the middle of the week, Halloween to start, and the end of the daylight saving time change at the end of the week. October 31st, begin on Sunday. It's Halloween, everybody's favorite run around in a costume and get candy trick or treat sort of thing. It comes from a cross quarter day. If you think about seasons, usually we think, okay, you look at the calendar and there are equinoxes and solstices. Those are usually the equinoxes in March and September, solstices in June and December. About halfway in between those are the cross quarter days. Groundhog Day in February, May Day, Lammas in August, and Halloween in the beginning of All Souls there at the beginning of November. So those dates are between the equinoxes and solstices, hence they were called cross quarter days. And for Halloween, lots of people like to carve pumpkins into astronomical shapes, perhaps, and celebrate. Continuing on to the 1st of November, facing the south part of the sky. If you're not real sure where the south is, figure out from your observing place which direction the sun appears to set. That's going to be in the west. Point your right shoulder in that direction and your nose will be pointing toward the south. On this image, the planets are kind of exaggerated, very exaggerated in size. Venus is not the size of the full moon, nor is Jupiter. They're tiny star-like objects, but really bright, and Venus is the brightest of the three. Venus is fairly close toward the horizon, maybe a quarter of the way up the sky. Jupiter and Saturn are higher, almost all the way up at the top of the sky, toward the south part of the sky at the beginning of November. If you want to get up really early, the second day of November, and look at the early morning sky, this time we're facing east at about 7 a.m. So whichever way was west, put your back that way and your nose will be facing toward the east. The moon is a waning crescent, just a sliver fingernail of moon left. And if you're lucky and have a really flat, really dark, really clear eastern horizon, the planet Mercury shines very low to the horizon, exaggerated on the image again, but like a really bright star. If you're not sure about patterns in the sky, the constellation of the Big Bear with the Big Dipper inside is pointing toward the North Star, Polaris. And on the right-hand side of that will be the tiny crescent moon and the planet Mercury. If you have a clear, flat eastern horizon, try for that on the morning of the 2nd. Zoom in a little bit closer, you can see Mercury is really pretty close to the horizon, and the moon is that smiling little crescent, last of the waning crescent. And the moon is new, finally, on November 4th, and it technically is at 5:15 p.m. That's the time the new moon phases, as we've been talking about. The new moon is essentially no moon. You don't get to see the moon in the sky. It's up in the daytime with the sun. So in the same part of the sky where the sun is. It's not exactly in the same part. We don't have an eclipse this month, but it's in the same daytime part of the sky. Toward the southwest on the 6th, moon has moved along its orbit a few days, and a tiny waxing crescent moon is visible in the southwest part of the sky. Very exaggerated Venus again, and a tiny, tiny crescent moon. Again, western part of the sky, Venus fairly high up, the moon just a bare, very faint crescent toward the southwest. And everybody's favorite daylight saving time ends on Sunday, November 7th. Most people put their clocks back 1 hour on the 6th before they go to bed. Some people get up at 2 o'clock in the morning on the 7th to be very precise and move the clock back 1 hour. But daylight saving time ends for us this year at the end of the first week in November. And thank you very much for listening. We appreciate people phoning in or looking at our www.fernbank.edu website, finding our Facebook page with Friday evening at home planetarium lessons, Saturday science, and keep an eye out on the webbook on the Facebook page for all the activities going on at the Science Center. Thanks again for listening. Have a great week.